You don't need a house full of kidlets to make safety a priority. As an empty nester, my safety considerations have definitely evolved, along with a wonderful lack of dirty socks and dishes laying all around the house. And that's why today I'm focusing on safety tips for us grown-ups who live on our own or maybe with roomies or a partner. And if you've got some tips for singles or couples, we want to hear them. So go ahead and share them in our comments. And your tips might make it into a SafeWise article, newsletter, or future video. And don't be shy, subscribe to our channel while you're at it. One downside to living alone, or even with another person if you're both out of the house a lot, is that you are the only one to remember all those basic home security do's, like locking the doors and windows, turning the porch lights on and off, and checking smoke alarm batteries, etc., etc. That's why I love smart gadgets that you can control with your phone in an app no matter where you are. And let's face it, something that I can control myself through my phone can be a lot more reliable than asking a partner or a kid or even a roommate to flip on that porch light for me or make sure that the door is locked. When you add smart locks and lights, you are the one that can make sure your door is always locked and that you're greeted by a well-lit drive and a walkway every day when you get home from work. On top of using smart devices to make securing your home easier, I have one security device that I consider a must-have: an outdoor security camera. I'm talking about a security camera with motion-activated recording, mobile alerts, and two-way talk so you can say, "Hey, get off my porch." This is the hardest working, most efficient piece of security equipment out there. I've said it before and I will definitely say it again. If you only do one thing to improve your security, if you can only invest in one piece of equipment, make it a camera. And the best news is that you can get a good camera for under $100. For more on the right camera to buy, check out Katie's review of our top picks and read all of the specs on safewise.com. And that way you're gonna be able to find the security cam that's right for your budget, for your home, and for your needs. Now, when it comes to personal safety, it's easy to think about protecting yourself when you're out in a dark parking lot or walking alone at night, coming home after a late dinner or a movie. But what about when you're just in your house alone and something happens, like a fall or medical emergency? This is something that I had not thought about until I got divorced and found myself unconscious at the bottom of my stairs, literally alone, the first weekend that my kids were gone with their dad. Here's the story. Basically, I was having a really good day, which was rare in those times, and I got home from groceries or something, and I heard the phone ringing. For some strange reason, my landline at that time was in the basement. And so I had stairs to go down, went bounding down the stairs, and I was feeling so jubilant that I thought, heck, I'm just gonna jump the rest of the stairs. I don't know why I had this thought, but I did. And I launched myself, just so excited. And next thing I know, I saw stars and I was like, what the heck happened? The first thought I had at that point was, oh my gosh, I'm all alone. I'm alone for the next 3 days. Nobody will find me if something happened. And so I crawled over to the phone that was no longer ringing, dialed my best friend's number, and left her a message asking her and her husband to come check on me to make sure that I was okay because I had stupidly injured myself and I didn't know if I was bleeding in the brain or what. But that was the first time that I thought, oh my gosh, I'm alone and what do I do? And first of all, if you're wondering, I looked back at the stairway and what happens as you get to the bottom of my stairs, the ceiling actually dropped. And so I basically just launched myself at full speed straight into the ceiling. Anyway, I learned some really important lessons on that day. One is just don't jump down your stairs. And if you do, look before you leap. And secondly, even when you are a grown-up, a self-sufficient, functioning adult, you need somebody else that's looking out for you. That's why my number one personal safety tip for singles and couples is to implement some kind of a phone tree system, an emergency contact system. Make sure that you have people you regularly check in with and that they know the length of time that a lack of hearing from you constitutes a possible emergency, a possible problem that something went wrong. Especially if you aren't very smart like me and you're very accident prone. So those are just a few little tips to help you if you are living on your own, but you still want to live the safest life possible. Use smart devices to help keep the house locked up, help keep the lights on. Get an outside camera. That way you're going to know what's going on. And if something bad does happen, you have a better chance of catching evidence that can help track down the bad actors. And finally, if you live alone, if you're on your own, set up some kind of a system to regularly check in with people or have people check in with you just to make sure you're okay. You don't have to be frail or sick or older to need someone to check in on you. I was 30 years old and I knocked myself out cold like an idiot. So I think it's real important to activate that phone tree, have people on call, make sure that y'all are looking out for each other. That's how we live our safest lives. Safety is important to every household and each one of us, but we can often overlook safety measures that are specifically meant to take care of us and adults living without kids. So I hope this gives you something to think about and some solid actions that you can take to make your fabulous adult, grown-up, kid-free life safer, both at home and wherever your adventures might take you. And don't forget, if you've got a safety tip or story you'd like to share, let us know in the comments or on any of our social channels. Until next time, stay safe and please don't jump down the stairs. It's not worth it.